Today I want to get into Jin being tired and people thinking that he will faint. We then have people believing that Jin was in pain or upset during the military and rushed out. And then we have a moment where Jin had to apologize to ARMY. So hey Dumplings, it's safe to say, hater or not, make sure you subscribe with the notification bell on, grab your dumpling, taste-filling mug merch, and let's go. A lot of people freak out when BTS members are at the airport, and I want to continue to reassure and calm everyone down. While we can never predict what will happen in the future, we can always use past examples to show how things will turn out in the future, as there's protocols for things and things can only get better from the past. Airports are moments where if you're quick enough and keep up with the news, you can catch the boys walking in, take videos, and just enjoy a moment where you actually see and feel them in your space. I can see the appeal in trying to meet an idol at the airport, although I would never do it mainly because I am too lazy, and also I get very weird around crowded places. But I can see the appeal in going because a lot of us won't ever get the chance to see BTS in concert. It sells out so fast, and a lot of us won't ever win a meet and greet ticket. So this is really the only way for a lot of people. Of course, while I think it's okay to go meet them at the airport, I don't exactly think crowding or trying to run up to the idol is an okay thing to do. I think personal space is important and necessary. This is when it gets murky and a lot of armies are mad at anyone that shows up. They think that anyone that shows up to meet the boys are stalkers and are there to touch the boys. And this makes sense to think about. There's been extreme cases of quote-unquote fans who have attempted to hurt the idol due to their obsession with the idols. And in crowded areas, who knows who is a real fan and who is there to kill the idol. A little while ago, a member from TVXQ was given orange juice by someone he thought was a staff, but it was someone who ran anti-fan account and tried to kill him. The member ended up vomiting blood and needed to go to the hospital. Obviously, we don't want this to happen to anyone. This is literally so scary, and of course I can't even imagine if something like this happened to a BTS member. When Jin had stepped into the Argentina airport in October of 2022, he ended up taking a private exit at the airport. If you are not aware or forgot, Jin was in Argentina to do this concert with Coldplay, which I did react to on Patreon, so if you're interested in fangirling over that show, I will link the Patreon in the description. There's even a $1 tier you can sign up for, and we always have a fun time there. But anywho, when Jin was leaving the plane to leave through the main exit where the fans and reporters wait, Jin likely noticed too big of a crowd there and assumed it was simply just not safe to enter that main exit. Keep in mind, this is a decision that the staff and him make on a whim, judging if it appears safe at the main airport exit. So even if people do appear, and lots of people appear, please do not fear that the idol is in danger. They tend to make the right decision at the right time to ensure their own safety, as well as the safety of the crowd that is there. Jin had to later apologize as there were so many armies and reporters that had come all the way to meet him, but apparently Jin's safety was not only super important, but of the utmost important, as it was later believed by some armies that Jin had received a police escort to wherever he needed to go. There was some video footage of a police car. However, it's strange because there's no evidence that this is Jin. It could just be a random police car thing, but people believe it's real, to say that mostly political figures or super important people get this treatment, and we're so glad that Jin got this. So if this is true, there is no need to worry. Jin will be safe no matter what. Of course, Jin's safety isn't really the only concern that people had. There's been clips that have been resurfacing after Jin went off to the military, and people were wondering if during the beginning, Jin and BTS were okay. This clip took place during a meet and greet, and Jin was closing his eyes and really struggling to keep his eyes open. People believe that he was trying so hard to stay awake and not pass out or faint. K-pop idols are known to be overworked and known for randomly fainting on stage. This is likely due to a lack of sleep, lack of food, and just a lot of stress. I never understood this before I got into K-pop, but fainting from stress is definitely real, and a lot of times it's from labels, but not all the time. Celebrities are probably the only people that do faint from stress because there's a lot of public backlash if they're not perfect. So a lot of the times the stress is even self-imposed. But anywho, Jin was also rubbing the area between his eyes during the fan meet. This made people think that he was in severe pain or just tired. People were complaining that HYBE was overworking him, and this made them feel very sad. I think there's a lot of stress when becoming an idol in the beginning. It's exactly the same as running a business or starting one. In the beginning, a lot of businesses will find investors and they're living on borrowed time and money. They have to make a return off of the investment, and if that means working to the point of not sleeping well or just working long hours, then they have to accept that that is what they need to do. For those who feel terrible, a lot of the long hours that BTS has are self-inflicted. They push themselves to the point of exhaustion more than I believe the label does. And this was a pressure BTS felt from themselves to be the best. Jin is someone who had mentioned struggling to learn how to dance as well as everyone else and do the things he was never formally trained for. He was trained to be an actor. Things like dancing and singing were not his trade. However, he still managed to do it and do it better than most people can. This is because he worked on it and likely in the beginning did not sleep. The other theory I have for why Jin was rubbing his eyes, or more so rubbing the center between his eyes, might be because his eyesight is really bad, or was really bad. He had really bad eyesight for a long time before he got surgery, and if you have bad eyes, then you know sometimes your head hurts. You get headache, vertigo, you name it. This could have been likely what was happening in this moment during the fan meet. The lighting in Korea and most Asian places are not great and usually very harsh. This can obviously hurt the eyes, and so as you can see, he's not rubbing his eyes, trying to stay awake, but massaging between his eyes because it probably hurts there or making him dizzy. Much later, armies were surprised to hear that Jin got lens surgery, which to my knowledge is an insert of a lens into his eye to help him see better, and thus I don't think we have seen him have this problem too much as of late. So I just want to clarify this and say that Jin is okay. There's no issues here and he is doing just fine. It seems like the internet is still looking for things to be concerned about, or just the fact that they're missing Jin and just going through content right now. This could also be a reason. There was a clip that made armies really emotional, and it was a clip at Jin's celebration ceremony. If you're not aware, Jin finished his couple-week-long training, and this is the training you get initially to teach you how to be a soldier. Then you graduate from that, and then you begin your service as a soldier, where you are officially one and can now do your duties. So Jin just graduated, and there was a clip that came out where Jin was receiving the graduation pin or whatever he got, and he looked super handsome. Jin's brother and parents were said to be in attendance, and they got to watch Jin shake hands with the people who had trained him. This is rumored. We don't have any proof that they were there, but if they were there, they must have been so proud. Later, when everyone was dismissed or was allowed to go their own way, reporters showed footage of Jin running around and almost looking like he didn't know where to go. People believed that Jin was looking for his family and trying to find where they were to go towards them. But there was a moment that broke people's hearts when it seemed like he could not find them, and he was pushing around. People felt like he must have been in so much pain or sad to not be able to find them, as he was most definitely looking forward to the ceremony just to see his family. And he was rumored to be trying hard to rush out of the room to see his parents. And I believe they did end up reuniting and having a fun moment together. But that is not all. We can also speculate that there was likely a moment in there for both Jin and his family. Because when you graduate and right before you are shipped off to your permanent location, you are allowed a couple of days of a break. So within that time, the soldier can do whatever they want. Likely in Jin's case, he could go to his parents' place and just enjoy that. You might be somewhat frustrated to hear that Jin only got a few days off, but that is likely by design, as once you get too much time off, you become a bit restless. And also, you only train for a few weeks, so if you take too much time off, you might forget the training and need to redo the training, which is not cheap for the government. But I think at this time, Jin may be back or maybe shipped to his more permanent location, but we won't know until the next batch of stories or military photos come out. But what do you think about all of this? Do you think Jin was tired during the fan meet, or was he just having a headache due to his eyes? Do you think Jin was in pain or hurt when he could not initially find his parents? Do you think he was trying to see his parents? And do you think Jin is safe when he goes to the airport? Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks, just lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.